And I'm back. Got back from the meeting, preheating the oven, get something, cooking, and make some food. Got some leftover coffee, um, and I'll do this. I'll consider maybe doing a little bit of writing, maybe just a little bit. But I should be taking it easy. But I probably will. I don't know. Seems my words have left me temporarily. It's not a block, you know. It'll take a little bit to get back, you know. Haven't written an essay in just a few days now, but it's like, how do I do that even? It's like, well, I know I just sit down and I start writing the words that appear, and then looking at them, and then making changes and sorting things, and it takes hours. And what might take like 5 to 10 minutes to read, it might be 3 hours there that it took to write it. You know, so it's not like something that I just throw down. That no, there's a lot that goes behind it. So I don't know how it looks like to anybody, but at least that's my process right now. It takes time. It's not like a one and done where I can just throw it down there. There's lots of you know drafts, but it's all like constructed on the spot in one sitting generally, unless it's like something that I've been collecting notes on. And then I'll like have my notes from it throughout the day or maybe a couple days, and like a series of thoughts that haven't formed yet into an idea for a topic or whatever I want to talk about. And then I'll have like, oh yeah, what did I, and I'll like go to my memos, and like I'll have little pieces, little snippets of thoughts, and I'll put them together. Like this is an older thought. It's somewhere in there. If I searched for it, I'd be able to find it. But about there's a lot of people that talk about it's a lot of fear mongering and doomsaying, and it's like my take on it is about hope mongering and dream saying, and there's like a whole topic there. But I remembered it when I was walking down, but I'm not going to go into that now. But it's its whole thing, and I've already written about it. But it's a really good one. But I remembered it tonight. I was thinking about maybe writing it again or talking about it again. But there are some other things. Um, and the other one about self-fulfilling prophecies. I can make things come true. Whatever I tell myself, I'll somehow find a way. If I really want it, if I want it bad enough, I'll find a way to find it, or I'll find a way to make it come true. And so if I have that ability, which I have, make it a good prophecy. That's the tip. That's the suggestion. I won't go so far as to say advice, but make it a good prophecy. Because if that is the case, then go for it. Why not? Yes. hmm What do I have to lose? What else do I have going on for me that's so spectacular? Well, quite a bit actually, but not from anyone else's perspective, but from my own. Just being here, having this, it's like, that's something I never had before. So, for what it's worth, for whatever it means. Just that freedom of thought, peace of mind, gladness of heart. Mm. Almost, but not quite. Uh, an innocence of spirit? Not really. But it's somewhat of a restoration of faith and hope in humanity or life itself. But enough to keep me going, you know, to, stay within the margins, because I can go off into the shadows, without even knowing. So I'm not on the page. but I'm somewhere in the margins. So find whatever meaning you like there. But I don't know. I'm having a good time, and I don't have to explain it to anybody. It's like I am not living up to somebody else's standard of living. I'm not living up to anybody else's expectations of how happy I am or how good of a job I'm doing. I don't have to fulfill their expectations or their standard of living. And I'm not trying to be myself correctly for them or live my life correctly as they see it. I never could. So why try? If I'm living up to my own standards and living up to my own sensibilities of, right and wrong, you know, in accordance with, some sense of civilization and society and, law and order, then, I'm not a monster. At least, not anymore, I think. I'll get back to you. I'm trying to do better. Let's go with that. Yeah, I got my mug and everything. I apologize for the sounds. I don't know if that bothers you. It bothers me, actually. So it's like something I should probably, I don't know, sounds. But anyway, I'm in a good mood, I guess. I get to verbally, in plain sight, I get to chastise, I get to speak the program as I've come to understand it and talk about life as I have come to understand it and perceive it and value it and find worth in it and find merit in artistry, poetry. And there are those that, well, that's not, hiding in recovery, living in fear in recovery. It's like, can't do that. It's like, I didn't get sober, to live in recovery. There's a lot more to life. And it's like, I'm not going to be held hostage. And I'm not going to feel bad or guilty or ashamed for wanting more out of life because I think I can do more. And I think it would be a great shame for me. I would feel a great shame, that would be the shame, for me if I had just limited myself to what others think I can do. And because I think I can do more, I can dream. They don't know. So I don't know why I give them, I mean, who knows? But no one knows my dreams. No one, no, I don't have the ability to, or the words to even, describe all the things. I know it, and and it's they're healthy. It's like I don't really need much. I'm not. So it's like just give me space and watch me go, and or not. Probably actually just not. But I'll be going ahead and doing it anyway, and other people they can think whatever they like. They can. But somehow I keep succeeding or doing okay. I'm not going to say anything's a success. Success is measured, well, don't measure. Just accept or do better. And that was the other thought I Um, somebody mentioned about, paying it back, paying back what was freely given, as far as the program goes. I don't know if anybody wants what I was, my experience was a strange one, at least how I remember it. So it's like, I don't know if anybody wants me to treat them like how I remember being treated. So it's like, I don't want to pay anybody back what I was freely given. No, I'll give them, I'll try to give them something better based on my reflections. And again, a lot of it comes from not being diagnosed. I was diagnosed, but I wasn't really told. It was, some people knew, but I was not living diagnosed. I wasn't consciously acting and aware. So it was running in the background, but I didn't know. So I think I was. So anyway, there's that whole thing. This program was not designed for autistic people. That's the thing. But autistic people have a lot to contribute and add into the program. An insight that is lacking otherwise. As I remember when I first told my sponsor about my finding out about it, he didn't know, maybe who knows who knew what at what time. I don't remember the whole thing. But he was afraid that I was going to use that as a way of giving up, as a way of, like, oh, I can't do this because I'm autistic, as an excuse or something. I mean, he doesn't know me. He doesn't know what it was like. I can say words, but people don't know what it's like up here. I mean, he knows from his perspective what it was like for him to have gone through what he went through. But, people think differently than I do. For the longest time, I thought everybody thought like me. They just had different lives and different origin points of their story. It's like born into different families with different physical attributes, and stuff like that. Character creation. And everybody thought the same. They just had different starting points. No, everybody does not think the same. People think. I don't think there's like a class A or B or C or D or E or F. I don't think there's any classifications. I mean, it's all like the spectrum. But then there's a spectrum, and then there's I don't know but I don't know where autism ends and, regular. Is it an entirely different classification? I don't know. And neurotypical, neurodiverse, those were words I didn't never even heard of before. And it's like, I don't understand it. But apparently, like, the way I think is, it always has been, non-standard. So it's like, it's like, I don't know how not to see things as other people. I mean, I don't know how other people see things. I don't know how they think about them. I see how they behave, and I see how they talk, or, hear what they say. And and I don't understand why they don't do what they say. And they don't, they say one thing, and expect other people to do that, but then they don't do it themselves. So it's like that whole hypocrisy thing. And it's like, if it's so good, then why don't you follow what you say? So it's like, I try to the best of my ability, not to tell anybody what it's gonna. I mean, I won't tell anybody what works for them, or tell anybody what's going to work for them. I just tell them what works for me. And it's like, if they try it and it doesn't work, oh well, it doesn't work for them. I wouldn't expect anything that works for me to work automatically for anybody else. It's like I just have different, uh, you know, things work from. It's like people complain a lot. Complain, not just talk. They complain, and it's like, I do too, but I don't know. I'm complaining about complaining? No. I call it making observations. That's my way to complain without, what? Anyway. I know. I know. But, it's Friday night, and, this is what I'm doing. I don't know what anybody else is doing. And it's like, I didn't ask. And it's like, I'm not really interested in spending any time. There's, um, I just, maybe if I gave people more of it, it's like, but I've gotten to know people enough to know that it's like, I just don't get much out of the conversation. It's like within the structure and confines and walls and of, recovery, it's like, got something to talk about. But as soon as we get, it's like, it just starts, I start having to, improvise and pretend and put on a show and perform, and it is really stressful. And most of the time, I'm just like, can I go? I want to just settle. I want to relax. I want to be by myself. I mean, I haven't met anybody really. It's like I've been interested in a few people, but it just never really went anywhere. Mostly, I don't know. It's like people don't want to get to be known. It's like I try to get to know people, and I try to let them know who I am, and but mostly people don't want to be known that much for whatever reason. It's like, I don't know. It's weird. So I just kind of like, yeah, I'm okay just being by myself anyway. So, I do seek, human interaction and connection, um, and find interaction stimulating, interesting. Um, but, as far as like, just alone. And that's just the way it's been. And so it's like, I mention it every so often, like the people that notice or ask questions, the people assume I'm married or something, or people assume that I have children, where it's like, well, I appreciate the thought that I appear to be somebody that could, but I don't, and I don't know what kind of reaction or what people think about that. I was like, what's wrong with this one? The answer is, you're not interested. So mostly I just don't talk, because most people don't care enough to find out, uncomfortable answers. They don't want to know, because the answers are not convenient. They aren't attractive. People prefer, who knows what they think. But it is an interesting story, but no one sticks around to want to hear it. And I'm okay with that. I've gotten used to it. And it's like I get rejected all the time. Well, not because I stopped trying for the most part, but it's like I mostly want to get rejected for being exactly who I am. I don't want to be rejected for who other people think I am. No, I'm going to tell you who I am and test you first. It's like give you little bits of information to see. It's like how people react, and it's like I won't trust you with deeper information until like I feel like uh, it's like being accepted slowly over time. It's like this, it's like here's this this thing, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, accepted that. Seems okay with that. Well, okay, well, here's this other thing that happened. What do you think of this? And it's like it's not testing. It's getting to know people, giving them stories, and letting them hear your story, and seeing what they think about it, and then letting them tell me their stories. And it's like I don't know. It's getting to know people, and but I don't have much experience with it because I just do what I do and stay alone, and uh, I don't meet very many people. And most of the people that I do meet are very, hit or miss, and they just come and go and disappear. And and most people, they have their own lives and whole histories and families and friends and relatives, and I'm just by myself here. I've got no history, and I'm not from here, so I don't have any connection. And so I'm making history one day at a time, um, but I don't feel home. So it is kind of a thing, but for whatever reason, it doesn't bother me. Um, Maybe it's a just my ability to, be okay with a lot of things, no matter where I end up, no matter what's going on. I just kind of tend to default to accepting reality as it presents itself because, well, I decided to live. So having decided to live, decided to, try to live best I know how. It doesn't mean I have to like everything. But I don't know. I just keep trying. And there's stuff that I don't understand. But I just hope that it'll make sense someday. You know? So, but, I'm just not shutting down. The last thing I can afford to do is shut down. So, I'm having a better night than whoever that was for. I don't know if that was audible. But as far as like life in general for me, I heard this word tonight. But as far as like a descriptive word, um, between now and before, drastic, drastic change. There's no record. I don't exist um, before I started, making a history. You know, that entire period of my life is just, there's no record, there's no pictures, there's no evidence. I mean, maybe somewhere in some file somewhere, but it's like, I'd be very I'd be very curious to like, but anyway, I don't know where this is going, but already at nearly 25 minutes of me just talking. So, got something out there in the wings, and I don't know what's going on with it. And I still, a lot of my thoughts are still there. I'm just giving space, and just, you know, being true, and holding on and seeing what happens and being available and being accessible. Um, and I do miss it, the conversation. And maybe I'm not supposed to, or maybe I'm supposed to have gone away by now, or lost interest, or moved on, or found somebody else, or who knows. That whole being rejected, not being wanted thing, or that, who knows? I don't know. I don't, I just lost a connection. I thought there was something there, and there, it really seemed like it. Of course, I felt that before and just been completely wrong. But this is different. I don't know how it's different. And that's what I was hoping to find out. And it might still. So it's like I haven't given up. I don't think I'm supposed to. It is frustrating, the whole not knowing. And keeping silent and keeping a distance and respecting and abiding when it's like, I want to interact. I want to communicate. I want to break silence. I want to break protocol. The hell with convention. It's like, it's a personal convention. So it's like I cannot. It's not a societal convention. It is a personal convention, so I have to abide by it. Just like I would expect anybody if I, had a personal thing. It's like, hey, I'm telling you that this is what it's going to be like. And if people insist on, it's like, well, okay, I told you. And then for me, it's like, yeah, it tells me something about the people, whether they want me to learn, so I'm making observations, and it's not about judging, but people tell me stuff about themselves by how they interact with me, or how they don't interact with me. So they can make all sorts of claims about and make nice words, but there's evidence to the contrary in their behavior. So I'm talking about over, some double talk kind of stuff. That's a whole other story. I know the one I'm talking about, of course. I am never going to have been who anybody wanted me to be for them. And it's like being angry at me and hating me for not being who he wanted me to be for him. It's like, no. I'm sorry you thought I was this person, and I was, no. And if you weren't paying attention. So I don't know. And it's the same for me. It's like, but I don't know. I don't understand exactly how everything like this works. So this is why I usually just choose to be by myself, because I don't understand. So it's like, I'll just be by myself. I know how to be by myself, and I can't accidentally do any damage or hurt anybody's feelings if I just stick by myself. And so, but one of these days, who knows? But I don't need to know right now. This is me just rambling on. Probably saying stuff I don't want to be saying, but it's just too late. So anyway, we're approaching half an hour. And this will take a good 2-3 hours to upload. So anyway, I should call it there. It's all very embarrassing, really. when I think about it. But it's true to me right now. I'll I'll own up to it and be responsible for my own words, my own thoughts, because these are just my thoughts, and you know, as they pass through my field of vision. Um, so everything with a anyway, I should go. No strange sounds tonight, so that's good. Yeah, okay, that's it.